What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's Friday, and that means it's time for the Rex and the Robbie Show. And today we're going to be talking about the Spider-Man 4 rumors, maybe Sam Raimi, maybe Tobey Maguire coming back to do another Spider-Man film. And we're going to be talking about the box office domination of Barbie and the success of Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. And of course, you can't have the Rex and the Robbie Show without Robbie. That's me. But here's my buddy Rex. How you doing, my man?
What's up, buddy? Man, I'm looking on your page, and 3 days ago you did an Ip Man movie review. I love that series of movies.
Oh, yeah.
Although they kind of jumped the shark when Mike Tyson joined it. I thought they kind of jumped the shark on that one.
They thought Mike Tyson would be their Clubber Lang is what they thought, I think.
Yeah, it didn't work out that way. And Mike, love you, man. Acting, not for you.
Yeah, Ip Man's I love that movie, man. We had a really great conversation, 5s across the board pretty much on Monday night. So,
which one? Are you talking about the original one?
The original, yeah, the original.
Yeah, the original one was awesome. Yeah, it really was.
Love some Donnie Yen.
Yeah, I'm a big Donnie Yen fan as well. So,
heck yeah.
Man, I would have joined in on that one. I'm a huge Ip Man fan.
Well, you were busy on vacation. How was your vacation, my friend?
It was good. Myrtle Beach was beautiful, hot, whole new level of hot. I'm telling you, I think it was hotter than last year when we were in Gulf Shores. I guess it's the heat wave that's across the country, it's blanketing the country, whatever. But it was hot, man.
Yeah, it's been unbearably hot here, like so bad, so freaking bad.
I will say that food was great, seafood, that type of thing. But one thing I missed from Gulf Shores, Alabama, Royal Reds.
Yeah, okay.
I miss that. Even my daughter's like, man, I wish we could get some of those big prawn again. I go, I know, man.
Huh. We had a great show this last Monday. Alex had brought in a bunch of like old school Spider-Man from like when I first started reading comics, like 87, 86. Oh my goodness, bro. It was like a nostalgia trip for me. I absolutely loved it.
There you go.
Good times, actually. All right, well, let's kick it off with the rumor, Spider-Man 4. So this comes from Thomas Hayden Church, who was being interviewed, who played, of course, Sandman in Spider-Man 3. And he was saying that he has been hearing that Sam Raimi is gearing up to do Spider-Man 4 along with Tobey Maguire. Now, these rumors have always been going on for like decades, literally, at this point, right? But with the success of Spider-Man Far From Home, with Sam Raimi kind of dipping his toes back into the superhero world with Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, I don't know. It seems a little bit more plausible now than ever. I want to know, Rex, what do you think about the news? Personally, I don't think it's actually going to happen, but what do you think, and would you be excited for it?
I don't know if it's going to happen or not happen, all right? These rumors, you know how they go, dude. You don't know who it's coming from. You don't know really the source. Church, probably, if it is true, is going to get reprimanded for allowing that info to get out. Or it's not true and he's speculating just like everybody else, or he's just trying to cause a little problem there and throw a little bomb in there and see what happens. I think the larger question is this, though. And I think it's a little bothersome, and it will lead into what we're going to talk about next, right? In terms of Barbie and Oppenheimer. It just feels like, so if you bring them back, okay, Raimi, I understand, okay, he's a director, so that's behind the scenes, okay? But if you bring him back, doesn't that feel a little bit like what they tried to do with Flash? Actually, it feels a lot like that. Okay, so everything that's coming out, superhero secret.
Oh, you're breaking up, Rex. You're breaking up.
It's just got blasted, for. Yep. I heard last week when I was on vacay, none of this happened. So Comcast is targeting me directly. Clearly.
Seems like you're back now.
Yep. Glitch in the Matrix. That's right, Billy. It's just me.
No. Nope. There you go again, Rex. Yep.
Apparently.
I love the Rex bit.
While I was away.
I love the Rex internet bit.
Everything. This is crazy, right? Oh my gosh. All right. Am I back? I don't even know.
You're back now. You're back right now. For how long, I don't know.
They hate me. They hate me. I'm telling you. There's like a one employee at Comcast is devoted to screwing my live streams up. I swear, I'm getting paranoid. So my point is, if you bring back Tobey Maguire, okay, are you pretty much doing the same thing? Hold on 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. We have an AC problem here, so I've got the AC running. So now everybody in the main office is going to get hot because I closed the door.
I love the professionalism of our Friday show, by the way.
All right, there we go. All right, so what were we talking about? I forgot. No, so you gotta kind of wonder. You bring Tobey Maguire sounds kind of like a Michael Keaton move, right? And it feels like a little bit like desperation if it's true. Like we need something, so we're gonna go back. So I guess this kind of leads into what we're going to talk about. Why Barbie, why Oppenheimer has all of a sudden like just, shot through with what we openly admit has been a weak kind of box office season, starting with Ant-Man, and then you have, even Doctor Strange was okay, but nothing has been wow. Nothing has had that kind of endgame impact, right? And it doesn't matter. DC, Marvel, look at Shazam, look at Flash. And I think that the audience is giving them a message. It's like, guys, you are just redoing the same cookie cutter thing over and over and over again. And when it's not working, you go back and you're trying all these stopgap fixes. Like, oh, you know what? Really, the Flash is not that good. So let's put a lot of Michael Keaton in, and we'll get that nostalgia viewer. This one, oh, you know what? Let's get Sam Raimi and let's get Tobey Maguire back and use that nostalgia to drag them back into the theaters. And then you have the success of Barbie and Oppenheimer, which I don't think anybody really imagined was going to be the case. Okay, I don't think anybody knew. All right, what it was going to do. Well, you make the eyeballs, but seriously, okay. With the failure after failure, you would think that this is going to work, but it does. Why? What is it that's unique about Barbie and Oppenheimer that's different from everything else we've seen this box office season? What is the one unique thing?
What's that?
The one unique thing is they're not remaking something. It's not even Mission Impossible. What is it? What number are we on?
7.
Okay, even Top Gun, which admittedly was a huge success, which I believe began this kind of cycle of let's reach back for nostalgia and we'll get them in theaters that way. It worked with Top Gun, did not work with Flash, did not work with a lot of things.
Well, I would argue that part of the key to Barbie's success is nostalgia. I would also argue that Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi coming back to do Spider-Man 4 wouldn't smell so much of the Flash bringing back Michael Keaton as the Flash bringing back Michael Keaton kind of felt like Far From Home bringing back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. And that movie worked. That movie made over $1 billion. So there is still a strong box office. Also, Rex, real quick. Also, I told you Barbie was going to make $1 billion this year. Nobody believed me when I said that. It's going to happen. It's already halfway there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you also said a lot of movies you thought were going to be successful didn't actually turn out that way.
So one movie, bro, The Flash. Okay.
I have to go back and replay everything on rewind, but I'm going to have to challenge the validity of that statement. But
okay.
But again, I would say, I'm ready to just like take this laptop and throw it out the window. Except my window don't open. So I would.
Yep, you're losing it again, bro.
Point about Barbie. Okay.
Can't. Nope. You're in. Nope. You're nope. Nope.
Live here. Am I?
Yeah, you're not. It's not doing well for you, there. Rex.
I can't move, Rod. Yeah. I'm gonna try to reboot it.
Okay. How are y'all doing? Isn't this fun to gather on Fridays and just go through these same routines? I love it. I told everybody Barbie was going to make $1 billion. I told Rex that it was going to be a huge success. And we're about to be getting into the Barbie and Oppenheimer discussion. And yeah, what do y'all think? What do y'all think about Spider-Man 4? Would you be excited to see Tobey Maguire come back yet again to play Spider-Man in a movie directed by Sam Raimi? I think that could be cool. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could be cool. Let's see if Rex is back.
Am I back?
Right now you are.
Oh my God. I swear they hate me at Comcast. I guess rightfully so. I've been bashing them for what, a year now. Yeah. So I guess my point is that Barbie, although does play on nostalgia, is not really, how do I put this? When I'm talking about the superhero movies, that type of thing, they're reaching back, not at nostalgia. They're reaching back at the nostalgia of a previous film and trying to recapture that in a slightly updated version. Barbie may reach out to nostalgia because it is iconic, okay, in and of itself. But it is iconic for being a toy. It's iconic for all the goofy videos, straight to DVD, straight to VCR videos that they made to support their toy line. But nobody's actually tried to do what they've done here. That's totally a brand new concept based on something that we all know, something that's iconic, something that's part of Americana culture. But the idea of making a live action Barbie film, no way. Nobody's ever done that before, right? Oppenheimer, I think, is interesting because I think that Oppenheimer proves that, no, it doesn't have to be a superhero film. It doesn't have to be a Marvel or a DC or a Star Wars. That people really do have, people do really have a desire to see something new. Enough time has passed. You know, that period of human history is very significant. And people want to see a biopic like that about such things, you know? So I think that the success of those two movies has proven to the studios, yo, you've been hitting that drum so many times, it's getting old and it's getting tired. And we're looking for something new. And that's why it has been so successful. If you look at everything that's come out, all right, everything that's come out has been a remake, a reboot, you know, a part 6 or part 7 of something that's already existing. And even Top Gun, okay, and even you know, the Spider-Man movies, okay, it worked. We were all, you know, really cool about all the different Spider-Mans from different universes coming together. That's great. That was at the time still a fairly novel idea, although the MCU was making extensive use, so we knew it was kind of probably going to happen, right? But again, now they're trying to re-hit that same idea over and over again because of the success of Spider-Man, right? So people are just getting tired of it, I think. And we're seeing that with the response to Barbie and Oppenheimer. Two very, very different films, okay? But the one thing that they are unique and similar is the fact that they aren't remaking something that's already been made. And there's been a real vacuum, and you've heard me talk about it before. My greatest fear is that anything new is going to be rejected by the big studios, right? Well, it's not Marvel, it's not DC. Where's the superhero? Okay, you know, where are the lightsabers? So all of a sudden, you know, the audience is saying that, yeah, okay, we love that stuff, but we've had enough. You know, you can love cheesecake, but if you eat 10 full cakes, I'm probably not going to feel very good.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're at. I think we're at a watershed moment.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying there. So let's run this by real quick. So Barbie just came out on the 19th, right? Like, it was not that long ago, and it is already at $500 million. Mm-hmm. It opened up to over $150 million here domestically. It is the #1 box office opening weekend of the year so far, and it has super exceeded expectations. It wound up with Warner Brothers' best Monday box office of all time, best Tuesday box office of all time, and probably best Wednesday and Thursday, or not Thursday, but probably the best Wednesday as well. Absolutely bonkers numbers. when I went to the theater, Rex, I went and I did the Barbenheimer experience. I did Barbie, and then right after that, I watched Oppenheimer. That theater, I have never seen it so packed since like way back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like 20 years ago. It was massive. There were lines at all
It
the
was not dead,
concession
Rex.
stands.
I knew once you guys got to this. Like, remember when I told you last Monday? Remember when I told you last Monday? Like, I can't wait to rub in Rex's face. Like,
I thought
it was not dead.
I thought it was the cops with a warrant. You just busted in here, dude.
Yeah,
I had my hands up. Like, oh wait.
Barbie making tons of money. Its domestic was actually 162. That was the opening. Oppenheimer, which was hopefully projected to make 50 mil domestically opening weekend, made 82, and worldwide right now is at 229 million, almost 230. That's insane for a biopic, a historical biopic, and it is Christopher Nolan's biggest opening for a movie ever that's not involving Batman. These are huge numbers out of nowhere.
I'm so happy for both films. I really am.
Marcus, we'll ask John on Monday, buddy. So
on Monday, this last Monday, he had seen it 3 times, I think is what he said, right? I think it was 3. Yeah. But first of all, both movies are actually good. And like you said, kind of the original, even though one's a historical retelling and one is based on generational nostalgia. And just like I told you with Mario, do not underestimate generational. Like things like Mario, things like Barbie, they've been popular for decades and decades. They've never stopped being popular, right? It's not like Masters of the Universe that goes up and down in popularity, things like that, right? So it is crazy. That theater was packed with so much pink, so many families, everybody watching all these movies, and so many people did the double feature. Another thing about why I think it works so well is both movies had some really intense and very good and clever marketing, right? Like we all knew about these movies well ahead of time. And that's something that a lot of studios don't do so much anymore. You just get trailers now like 2 months before, but we knew we were coming to this. What do you think, Amy? What are your thoughts?
I'm happy for both movies. I told you Monday there was a whole situation with Oppenheimer that the theater screwed up, so I'm going to try to make up for it this weekend. But like you said, when I went to see Barbie, like, yeah, you see people in pink, you see kids with their dolls. It's so heartwarming. And just watching the theater, people get into the movie. I won't spoil it too much, but America Ferrera's scene. I won't the scene I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The one particular scene in the movie. I'll keep it as vague as possible. But America Ferrera's speech.
Oh yeah.
So like, as soon as she's done speaking, I hear someone way over here go preach, and then a bunch of us just start clapping. It was great.
So figure drawing, I don't disagree with your statement in that the theater going experience is another issue. Okay, so as we discussed before on previous shows, there needs to be a different measure, right? So irregardless of that measure, right now this is the measure we use. And I think that what you're saying is it's summertime, of course, but I think that the audience is really saying something. And they're saying that original content is what we're looking for. See, the reason I think Barbie is different than, say, Transformers or anything like that, or Masters of the Universe, He-Man and all that, is that long before, color television came around, there were Barbie dolls. It is an iconic part of American culture. Okay, long before, generations that first started with Barbie, they're dead. It has that kind of hold on the cultural psyche of the country, if you will. Okay, and it has even spread to other countries, obviously. Oppenheimer is something that happened, and I think we're finally at a point where the generation that has any knowledge of it, okay, like real knowledge, okay, really my generation, all right. So I come from immigrant parents that lived through World War II, and suffering and everything else, but I was not born yet. So I know it because my parents lived through it, and that's something that you end up sharing with your children. So, and you're shaped by that. You're forever changed. Okay, famine, disease, whatever. So that's something that's very powerful in my history because I listen to my parents go, tell me stories about going through it. My daughter, it's a paragraph in the textbook. She knows it happened. She knows approximately when it happened. but there's no tangible kind of connection to it because her dad didn't live through it. Okay. So I try to share with her, but it's not the same because I'm not telling her from that point of personal experience. I'm telling her something about history that I may be personally connected to, but I did not live through. So I think we're getting to a point where a movie like this, which can kind of provide that emotional content and attachment to that event, is going to be popular. And it's proven that it is very popular. People do want to know about it. Okay.
Well, how much of it is people wanting to be like, oh, I'd like to see this story told or whatnot, and how much of it is the power of Christopher Nolan, right? Like the record that Christopher Nolan has, the fact that this was, as a biopic, it felt like an event movie, like a big blockbuster movie. It was incredibly well done, and Christopher Nolan is one of those directors who is kind of like a Martin Scorsese or a Ridley Scott of the past, like. They've kind of earned this ability to do what they want, like a Quentin Tarantino or whatever. And I don't know if an Oppenheimer biopic that was directed by anybody else would have been this big at all, especially going up against a box office monster like Barbie. What do y'all think?
I think that the audience, the people as a whole, has kind of surprised us. Okay, I think it's reaching two different kinds of audiences, right? So Barbie is reaching an audience that remembers it, but also kids. Because guess what?
Kids play with Barbie.
Yeah, even now, right? Kids play with Barbies, as they're growing up. So it's never left it. So there's a connection.
Barbie,
yeah. So there's my daughter as well. So there's that connection that binds the generations. And I think that's what's popular. Okay, I'll give you a quick story. So our season is over, but the team is doing a team bonding event. My daughter's team. And without us, they're all going to watch Barbie on Saturday. Okay. And there was some talk about, where the parents would there's a bar at the mall. This is the Regal that John goes to, as a matter of fact. Maybe they'll run into him. And I said, hey, if that happens, I'll hang with the parents, tell me where. But it turns out that's not going to happen. You know why? Because the parents want to go in and see the Barbie movie too. So to me, that shows that it brings those generations together. All of a sudden, mom and daughter can relate to something in common. Okay. Oppenheimer, I think, obviously is going to be an older audience, a more mature audience, right? You're not taking a 10-year-old to watch Oppenheimer. I mean, why? Okay. It's a little bit more than a 10-year. What? They really blew people up, man. Nobody wants it. 10-year-old, you got plenty of time to worry about the world. Right now, just have fun. Okay. Go watch a Barbie movie. But I think that there are people that want to know about that period of time, and they have no emotional attachment to it. And this movie that's what movies provide, right? Especially biopics. They tell a story in time about a person in time. Maybe it's dramatized, maybe it's not, but it does build a emotional connection to that event. And I think people were yearning for that, because theoretically, when have we seen a biopic like this really take off? I think maybe Titanic, maybe Pearl Harbor, those two movies of recent past. I can't think of another one, really. It's all been MCU, DC, Star Wars, whatever, Mission Impossible. Okay, all these things that are reboots of things that worked before, right? So, for me, it kind of makes sense. And I think that the audience is kind of retaliating to what the studios were trying to feed us. They're saying, no, you guys like this. Trust me, you like this. So we're going to more is better. Okay. All right. So if you liked Endgame, we're going to give you 10 more Endgame type movies with all kinds of crossovers. You're going to love it. And in the end, we didn't. Why? Because, dude, it worked, but now it's not working for me. Okay.
Amy, what do you think? Do you think Christopher Nolan has anything to do with the success of Oppenheimer?
Definitely. Yeah. Right. Because again, he's built this reputation. Right. I mean, after all the success of his Batman movies, but a lot of his other movies are kind of original ideas, like what he did with Tenet and Inception and Interstellar. He's an advocate for still those original ideas. And I'm seeing everyone kind of fighting each other in the comments right now of what's, I know I came in here screaming cinema's still going, and
5-0
and
everybody down on the ground.
And people are kind of like, what's cinema, what's not cinema. I think anything that can be shown in a movie theater cinema, whether it's an indie movie or a big movie or something like Barbie and Oppenheimer, biopic, family fun movie, it's still cinema.
Well, I'll say this.
Anything that can be shown in a movie theater.
I think,
and the experience itself.
Right. Well, I think now you're arguing for the theater experience. So now, let me say this.
I'm arguing for movies, Rex.
Well, no, I love movies, but you don't have to go to a theater to see one. But I think Nolan is an excellent director. I think the movies, projects he's been attached to have come out and they've been thought-provoking. They're interesting. But I still think, could another director have made this movie? It wouldn't be successful? Yes. Did Nolan make a great movie that is successful? Yes. Could another director come in and do the same thing with the topic? I believe so. I think that this project itself lends itself to people wanting to watch it. Okay, now the way that you get people, the buzz and people to keep coming back to watch it and new people to watch it is it has to be a well-directed movie, obviously, which I think Nolan's an excellent director. But the topic itself, okay, I think that if Nolan made yet another Batman, I think, okay, it's certainly not going to have the success of Oppenheimer, even if it was good, because of the subject matter is the problem. And I applaud Nolan. He knew the time to exit Batman, okay? He's made a lot of different types of movies in different realms and different genres. And I think he's been excellent at it. And I think that's smart, what he's done. You know, he didn't milk the Batman until, it was at its very tail end, jumped the shark type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So Taylor, I don't know. I think there are other directors could have done it, but a bad director, yeah, it could have been just a National Geographic documentary, for all we know. So, so I think that, not discrediting Nolan, but I still think that the core is the two topics that we're talking about. And I think people are out there and they want to see that. We're tired of seeing yet another one. And how is this connected to the other three movies? And when are they going to bring them back? I think it's fatigue. We've talked about this for a year now. It is fatigue. We want to see something else. It's like eating hamburgers every single day of your life. And you know what? I'd like a cheesesteak today. You know, it's just, you may love hamburgers, but can you eat it every single day for every meal? And that's kind of what it feels like. Again, I challenge anybody. Can you think of another biopic like an Oppenheimer, like a Pearl Harbor, like a Titanic in the recent years? I can't think of one.
Why do you keep bringing up Pearl Harbor, man? That movie's terrible. You're like,
I don't think so. I think it had, some goofy scenes, but I think that theatrically, from a visual and story that it told itself, yeah, I thought it was good.
You think Pearl Harbor is a good movie?
I did.
Really?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I did. Because it was the first movie about that era in time, did not focus on the tactical end of it. Okay. About, what was it? The Battle of Midway was one of my mom's favorite films. Okay. That was a very epic film. I thought that was a good movie, but it focused on the historical nature of that whole event. Okay. You'd see the Japanese, carriers coming in. You'd see, different areas, who was hit first. So it was a very tactical kind of movie. Again, great movie. Pearl Harbor looked at a different end of it, the human element. Okay. And I don't think people like that because of the human element. Okay. I'll give you another one that I really enjoyed, which ironically, we're talking about Chris Nolan and Batman, Empire of the Sun. That was a great biopic as well, about a moment in time. And it put what's his face? Batman. Come on.
Ben Affleck?
No. The good one.
Oh, Christian Bale, sorry.
Yeah, Christian
Bale.
Bale.
Pearl Harbor and Ben Affleck's in Pearl Harbor. That's why my brain got stuck there.
Christian Bale is in Empire of the Sun. He was a kid. He was a young man.
Yeah.
That was an excellent biopic. So I bring up those movies mainly because they were successes. They were epics. When have it, OUG, I agree. Absolutely. I love that movie. Schindler's List, love that. Straight Outta Compton, love that. Ford versus Ferrari, The Wolf of Wall Street. So of those, what is the most recent? I think Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah. And that was made how many years ago?
A few, not like maybe 5 tops.
So right now, from that point forward, we've been fed nothing but a steady diet of hamburgers. MCU, DC, crossovers, okay, cameo appearances. It's the same formula. You're just mixing up the characters, changing the story a little bit, but it's still a burger. It's like having a cheeseburger for every meal, except, hey, instead of American cheese, we're going to put provolone on top today. Woo! Provolone, that changes everything.
It really does, honestly.
And then the next day, we're going to put a little cheddar on there, right? But essentially, you're feeding me a cheeseburger. You can change the cheese. Okay, you can say today we have turkey patties instead of beef ones, but I'm still eating a burger. And that's what I feel like we've been getting. And I feel like the reaction to Oppenheimer and Barbie has been a retaliation. Oh my God, it's a cheesesteak. It's pizza. This is awesome. It's like I've never had it before. And that's why they're reacting this way. I got to be honest. Average Joe, pepper jack Kirby cheese. There you go. So, yeah, Warren, those are, yeah, OUG, actually, I do love Swiss cheese and cooked mushrooms, but it just feels like the audience has spoken. They're saying, enough. I don't want cheeseburgers anymore. Okay. I want something else. And they gave them something else. And people are, just beating each other up trying to get there.
One of my favorite things about both of these movies, especially with their success, is that there's very little CGI in these two movies. Like, there's a lot of practical effects. In fact, they say in Oppenheimer, there's no CGI, which I don't know about that, but
that's what I heard too, that they actually did a mini explosion.
Oh yeah. And you can feel it. And you were talking about that theater experience, and you were talking about how like theaters need to have an experience that you can't duplicate at home. And now with everybody's speakers and home theater systems and all this stuff, watching Oppenheimer in IMAX, that is not something I'm going to be able to duplicate even in the most state-of-the-art home theater at all. I guarantee you.
Give him a few years.
It is insane.
Give him a few years.
Okay.
The technology will catch up. OUG, I'm making myself hungry, and every single analogy can be tied to food, OUG. As you will find, that's what we talk about here.
That is true. But even in Barbie,
what's that?
Even in Barbie, Amy, like the scenes where they're going from Barbie world to the real world, right?
Yeah,
and
that was all practical.
All practical. It's so crazy. Like they're doing the old school theatrical things where they're making the waves and the dolphins come out. It's so cool to see that. I love it.
I heard they ran out of pink paint because they had to paint the sets. So there was actually a shortage of the pink paint.
Shortage of pink paint. Somewhere. I can believe that.
I hope that movie gets nominated for like its costumes and its production design, because the detail that went into all of it, you can't help but admire.
So Iman's, don't worry, buddy. Eventually, you're gonna get tickets.
Yeah,
you're cracking me up. So I just believe that this is a reaction to all of that we've been going through the last several years, especially when the pandemic hit. It felt like, man, Marvel, DC, they said, all right, here we go. Okay, this is our chance. Everybody's stuck at home. Let's pump them out. And they did. You look at like the CGI companies. If you read articles, they've been complaining. Like, yeah, it looks crappy because they got us on this deadline that no one can possibly meet. We got 2 weeks to do this, so it looks like crap. Of course it does, because we had 2 weeks to do it. So I don't necessarily blame the CGI companies. They're forced into a tight deadline to kind of patch things together. And you've got to admit, the production companies have gotten more and more grandiose. Look at Ant-Man. Okay, oh my God, dude, the whole movie was one big blue screen.
I still haven't seen Ant-Man, so. But
don't worry, you ain't missing much.
I've heard that. Amy, would you like to address Joe's question here? I'd like to see what you think.
I think for the most part, yes, kids can watch this movie. Are there a few adult jokes in there? Yes, but I think there are certain ones that'll go over their heads, and then
right.
They'll watch it 10 years later and be like, "Oh, that's what that meant."
Joe, I will tell you this, right?
I think it's pretty safe. Again, it's PG-13. Like, yes, right. Still have them go with an adult, but I think it's pretty safe for them to watch.
So, average Joe, I don't know if you were here earlier, but my daughter's softball team, they're all 12U, so they're 12 and younger. They are all meeting as a team to go watch the movie on Saturday. So, there are probably some adult jokes to keep the adults entertained. But I used to watch tons of those videos that they would make to support the toys. Mm-hmm. And there would be adult jokes in there hidden, okay? But knowing that the parents have got to watch this as well, Okay, so it kind of keeps the parents entertained as well. Like, I got that joke. Okay, but the kids don't get it. So maybe it's like that. I don't know.
What's crazy about Barbie is that I think, because like that movie is through and through for adults, but it's also through and through for kids. And I think that a kid will have a completely different reading and understanding of what the movie is, right?
Artificial key clicking. Yeah, it really is for the people who grew up with Barbie and who still kind of have this connection with the toy. Because a lot of things, it's like when they're describing like how the Barbie world's built and how she moves and how they magically change outfits, you're like, oh right, because Barbie can't change her own clothes, we change her clothes for her. So there's a lot of stuff there that it's very easy. Again, if you play with Barbie,
I think it's a good concept. Okay, they're taking a fantasy world and pushing it into the real world, a kind of a multiverse that actually we're interested in seeing, right? So I find that to be fascinating. I think that was a good idea. So I think that has something to do with that success. Like, how do you manage that? You know what I mean? There was that movie by Arnold Schwarzenegger years ago. Remember, he was the cop in the movies, and he what was the name of that movie?
You talking about Last Action Hero?
Yes. Okay. And although that was an okay movie, it had some really interesting elements to it, right?
Yeah.
Like the bad guy jumps in and fires off a gun, and cops don't respond immediately. They don't ever show up, and they're thinking, "What's going on?" Cops show up. I fired a gun, right? No, Eugene, that was a good one though. So I think that the Barbie movie probably delves into that, in a much more aggressive level. Like, what happens if a doll discovers the real world? What happens there? Like the feet, the feet with the shoes.
I love that shot.
It's just the whole thing. Figure drawing, I would agree with that too. I thought the concept was good. I think that's why it's done as well as it's done. It's given us something we haven't seen before. Okay, not really, and not in a long time if we have.
Iman, to address this thing real quick, Barbie was definitely, I think, going to have like more of a punch in the beginning over Oppenheimer. But I think Oppenheimer and Barbie are going to wind up near the same. I think Oppenheimer will have more legs, especially when we get into Oscar season, where they like to bring movies back during Oscar season that have been nominated. So Oppenheimer's going to stick around in theaters for a while. Plus, it's a 3-hour movie as opposed to a 2-hour movie, so there's less showings of it as well.
I would agree with that. I'm very interested to see Oppenheimer. But again, it's not something I'm going to necessarily go to the movie theaters and see. But I agree with you. I think this one's got legs. Okay, it's something that people are going to want to watch, even those that are not enamored with the theater experience, but have a sense of history and want emotional content. They're going to watch it when it streams. So I totally agree with you. I think this one's got really long legs. It's going to travel quite a bit. Barbie is a little bit, a different kind of movie. It's
still
more
cinema.
It's different, but it's more of kind of entertainment in a fun way, exploring something, a little piece of nostalgia, a little piece of that, what if, okay.
Existentialism.
Yeah, okay, there you go. My God, there we go.
It really does, no lie.
So, I think that, and it has kind of a happy theme to it, and Oppenheimer couldn't be any different. It's a part of history. It will give you an emotional attachment. It shows you behind, what we know about that, about that event in history is, obviously, hundreds of thousands of people, dead or horribly injured, many more dying of radiation poisoning in the weeks and months after. And that's what we see. Well, somebody created that, okay? Maybe not meaning to with the results that occurred, but somebody created that. So wouldn't it be interesting to learn about that human being? And what he was and who he was, because he literally did something that changed the course of human history.
And we're living in the aftermath.
We are living in the aftermath, but beyond that, what he created. And again, he's 62 lefty. I'm not blaming him per se, but there's some significance to that. Okay, something he created not only altered human history, it took hundreds of thousands of people's lives, man. Okay, all right. You look at somebody like Adolf Hitler, who obviously also had a much further mass effect, and that man is reviled. Yet through the years, people have tried to understand what motivated him. Okay, I think that's important. I think it's an understanding that we need to know, especially in this day and age. There's a lesson to be learned.
I saw a brief review of Oppenheimer where somebody was like, I thought I knew what this movie would be. I thought I'd go in there and it was going to be about Oppenheimer getting the idea, them getting together, creating the Manhattan Project, creating the bomb. The bomb goes off. Then he feels guilty about it. And then, I thought that would be the movie. And to a point, it kind of is. But the movie is like, it actually, I remember saying that I had heard beforehand that this movie comes across as a horror film at times. And it really does. By the end of this film, it does not tell the story in the way that you think it's going to tell the story. And when the realization sets in on how the world changed from the Trinity experiment on, like, it is intensely amazing how Nolan brings that across with Cillian Murphy, performance of his career, Robert Downey Jr. performance of his career as well. Like, everybody acts their ass off in this film. And this is the kind of stuff that I like to see. Fun movies like Barbie, big movies that are incredibly well made, like Oppenheimer, and just succeeding. And in the midst of all this box office just glory, Blue Beetle's projected to have one of the worst DC EU openings ever. Are we surprised at that at all, y'all?
I hope it's actually a good movie, that it starts getting good word of mouth and more people start seeing it.
No, because I think, again, it's just, we're tired of it. Okay. Yeah. We are, as an audience, we are tired. We are fatigued. You keep throwing the same concept. So in order for the next superhero to really take off, I feel like you got to do something different. I don't know what that is, but it's got to be something different.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I am excited to see Blue Beetle just because I'm a big Cobra Kai fan. So I'll see Miggy in anything. But I don't. It does. Blue Beetle comes across to me in the trailers like a '90s comic book movie, and I hope that it kind of does that in a good way and not a bad way, like Black Adam did for me. But I don't know. That's just me. Amy, you excited though for Blue Beetle? Because I am.
Like after seeing a couple of the trailers, I'm like, this has the potential to be a really good movie. So I have hopes for it. I'll keep it moderate, not too high. I'll keep moderate hopes for it.
So, KO, you don't have to agree with me. Nobody does. That's the beauty of being an old man. Nobody has to agree with me, and I don't really care much. If you think Barbie and Oppenheimer,
but we'll see.
If you think Barbie and Oppenheimer are the same kind of movie, then, well, I don't know, man. You might want to get your glasses checked. Just saying. Whether or not I go to a movie theater or not has nothing to do with it. Okay, that is a location. The quality of a movie, the whether a movie is good or not, has nothing to do with where you watch it. Okay, all right. Now I know Amy would probably disagree, but a good movie is still a good movie. Okay, when you see a good movie, you don't come here and tell me, "Oh my God, the theater was smoking great." You wouldn't believe it. I had the big armchairs, and you don't come there and tell me that. What you do is you come in and tell me that movie was great. When you don't like a movie, you are so generous, and you say, "Well, I felt like it could have been better," which means that Amy thinks it sucked. Okay, that's
I'll tell you when I think a movie is terrible. I've seen the movies where I think they are terrible.
I have known you now for a few years, and I can't remember you ever saying that about any movie.
Because I don't like talking about things that make me upset, Rex.
So there you go. So she won't tell you it's terrible because it upsets her. See? Point proven.
Oh, stop twisting my words around.
Well,
all right.
The good news is it was better than Blade Runner 2049.
Hey, we got Dune 2 coming up this year. That's going to be a big movie.
Oh, yeah. There you go, Marcus. Great minds think alike.
Most expensive key in my collection is Fantastic Four #5, first appearance of Dr. Doom. I don't have a lot of keys, though, but I do have that one. So anyway, thank you all for joining us. Let us know your conversations or your thoughts in the comments down below. Rex, Amy, I appreciate it, as always. What's coming up for y'all?
Well, tonight Nick's got at 7 p.m. Don't forget
the original art experience.
On the experience.
A lot of Mark Bagley. And some stuff just came in from Spencer Beck that I think that's going to be on the show. So expect a lot of Spider-Man.
Yeah, if you are a original art collector, you can't miss the show. If you are just if you haven't collected, hey, it's a great show to watch. Nick usually has a little history behind the pieces and little stories. on a lot of them. So, I would definitely tune in even if you're not a collector, just to see the original art. It's really cool. Of course, Robbie and I and John will be back on Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern for our normal Comic Collectables show. And what do you got going on this weekend, buddy?
I got nothing going on this weekend, but we do have Action Fest continuing to deliver the thrills and the chills. That's more appropriate for Horror Fest. We got Action Fest this Monday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. We're talking about a classic, y'all. We're going to be talking about the original Predator movie Monday night on PCP Movie Night for Action Fest. And that's going to be a great conversation because that's a great movie. Y'all like Predator, right?
I miss it, man. I would have totally been in on that. Hey, KO, listen, buddy, all good. Okay. We have this show once a week. We talk about whatever we want. You don't have to agree. You don't even have to like me, dude. It don't matter at all. Okay. So, my suggestion is if you don't like what I say, probably not the show for you, buddy. Plenty of YouTube channels, my friend. All right. But it's all good.
Well, and Rex is only here for one show a week, just so you know, KO. So you don't have to go to another channel.
There you go. Okay. That's right. So you can watch. Robbie has tons of content, man, and it's all great. Okay. All joking aside, I'm a big fan of Robbie's. Obviously, I consider him a friend after all this time. I've never
seen you guys football season. So
until football season, right? Yeah. But what are you gonna do? Bye, right, KO. See ya.
We're dipping out. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you later. Station. Pop.